Greetings to all my fellow watch enthusiasts on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else this video might be seen and shared. Celine Driver once again bringing you another unboxing and review of a watch that is mine. I first became aware of this watch from a company who I'm going to call them Agelocer. Agelocer? I don't know. Agelocer. Looks that way to me. I'm going to go with that. I became aware of this watch from a video from my friend Random Rob, who featured this watch in two videos in his channel. One was a brief introduction video, and another one was a more in-depth review. And also from another video from what was the name of the channel? Vintage Watch Repair. Nice guy. I think his name is Theon. Heavy accent. Who actually, despite the channel name being Vintage Watch Repair, bought one of these modern watches and took it apart immediately upon receiving it and rebuilt it, and actually was impressed with the watch and its quality and its ability to keep really good time despite the origins of its movement. And I decided that I was going to go ahead and get one of these myself. I picked this one up off of Amazon. Amazon is selling these watches, and they were selling them at a pretty good discount over the website, although I will leave a link to the company's website in the description below. Now, the thing that is intriguing about this watch is, and I guess you would consider this to be a micro brand, is the movement. And I'll get to that in a minute. Now, this is the Agelocer Tourbillon. Model number is 9004A1. There are actually 8 different models of this watch. They break down between black bridge work and blue bridge work. They break down between steel and rose gold tone cases, and either a plain bezel or a decorated bezel. Now, this one happens to be a blue bridges steel case plain bezel version, and you can go to the website and take a look at all the versions. The thing, and I've already mentioned what makes this unique, is the movement featuring a tourbillon. Now, when you open the box up, you get a instruction manual, which is really kind of superfluous because it's a basic three-hander movement. You get a little marketing stuff, which is nice. Also, before I get to that main box, you also get in my kit came a secondary box, and it took me a minute to figure out what this was. What this is, if I can get it out of its box, which is not the easiest thing in the world. You can see it's stuck in there pretty good. See if I can kind of tap it out there. Is this thing. And it took me a minute to figure it out. I mean, it looks kind of like a flashlight, but it's actually a winder. Focus. There you go. It's actually an electric winder. You put this over the crown, I'll show that in a minute, and you push the button, and it winds the watch. And it's USB charged. There's a USB cable. You can see it hiding down in there. And it winds the watch if you're not inclined to wind it yourself with your little fingers. Nice elongated box. You can see it's a fairly long box. And if you open it, Inside, I'll get to that in a minute, you have your hang tag, you have a cloth, you have a warranty card, and in my case, you have the original strap, which I didn't like. Not because the strap isn't nice. It's a leather strap with this alligator pattern, but you can see there are no holes. You somehow slide this thing into there and it folds over like it does on this side, you can see, and kind of locks in place. And after about 2 minutes of trying to figure that nonsense out, I gave up on it and I went to my stash and I found a collar ebb strap of the right lug width that I love collar ebb straps, and it fits the aesthetic very nicely. And I'm maybe change it up later and find something else, but I like this strap a lot better. It works a lot better, so I changed the strap out. Now, as to this doohickey, you can stick this over the crown, thusly, somehow. Kind of force it on there, and then you press the button and it winds the watch. It's all, kind of cute and everything, but I'm not going to use it. I mean, I can wind a watch. But take a look at this thing. This is, as I said, the Agelocer or Agelocer or whatever Tourbillon. Now, what is a tourbillon? I'll get to that in a minute. But know this. The tourbillon basically takes the place of a running seconds hand in this watch. Now, you can see that two of these little bridges are the same. This one's a little bit different, has a pointer to it right there, and a screw right there. So it's a little different than these two screws. So I timed it. I actually took my stopwatch on my phone, this thing here, and I waited until this thing got up and it faced 12 o'clock, like it is about to, right there. And I hit the stopwatch, and I timed the rotation of the tourbillon, and it is a 1 minute flying tourbillon. And I call it a flying tourbillon this very specifically, and I'll get to that in a minute. I have my notes over there. But given the fact that this watch uses a tourbillon, you would think that this watch is grotesquely expensive, because generally tourbillons are found on Swiss watches or high-end Japanese watches, and they cost tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally. I mean, go look up a tourbillon watch on Chrono 24 or European Watch Company or Watch You Seek or anywhere, and you'll see that tourbillon watches are thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands. This watch is barely over $1,000, and I didn't pay $1,000 for this watch from where I got it on Amazon. It's a Chinese tourbillon, to be sure. It is a caliber A9001 manual wind flying tourbillon that originates from China, and it is thus very inexpensive. However, and I'm going to attach a video clip of it at the end of this video. I put this thing on my time grapher, or as Random Rob calls it, the watch lie detector. And you'll see the results at the end of the video. For a Chinese movement, this thing is highly accurate. It's very accurate. I set this watch, I've had this watch for about four or 5 days now when I'm making this video. I set this watch and wound it, and has an 80-hour power reserve thanks to these twin mainspring barrels. I haven't had to move this watch time once. It is dead accurate. And I've checked it against this phone. I've checked it against quartz watches I have. This watch is very accurate, and I'm very impressed. It is, as you can see, a full skeleton watch. You can literally see right through it, almost every part of it. You can see my logo right there through the watch. You can see through the mainspring barrels. You can see through the tourbillon. You flip it over, and you can see all the wheels, and the escape wheel, and the ratchet wheel, and the click, and everything. There's very little that you can't see through. I think this bridge is probably it. But you can actually see through the top part of the bridge all the way through to the bottom part of the bridge. Now, as you can see, this tourbillon has all the functions of a normal escape wheel and the pallet forks and everything, but it's all moving in rotation. Now, why is that? Well, a tourbillon was, and I'm going to refer to my notes over here, a tourbillon, and I'm going to read here, it's a French word meaning whirlwind. Is in addition to the mechanics of a watch escapement to increase accuracy. Conceived by the British watchmaker and inventor John Arnold, it was developed by his friend, the Swiss-French watchmaker Abraham Louis Breguet, and patented by Breguet on June 26, 1801. The tourbillon escapement and balance wheel mounted in a rotating cage with the goal of eliminating errors of poise in the balance given a uniform weight. Now, back in the day when watchmaking was in its low technology phase, watches were not terribly accurate. They didn't account for movement of the wrist like so. And gravity could affect the accuracy of the watch by the different rotational forces on the escapement. The tourbillon was created to eliminate as much as possible those inaccuracies by wrist movement and by gravity, by isolating the escapement inside its cage. Now, there are many different tourbillons. There is a single-axis tourbillon, which was the original. Double-axis tourbillon, which was invented in 1978, of all things. There are double and quadruple tourbillons, triple-axis tourbillons, the gyro tourbillon, and then this one is the flying tourbillon, which is defined as being, rather than supported by a bridge at the top and bottom, the flying tourbillon is cantilevered, being only supported from one side. The flying tourbillon was invented by Alfred Hellwig, instructor at the German School of Watchmaking, in 1920. In 1993, a Chinese watchmaker residing in Hong Kong, I can't pronounce the name, created the semi-flying tourbillon with only an abbreviated carriage for the escape wheel and pallet fork, and the upper pivot of the balance wheel being supported in a sapphire bridge. So there are multiple different versions of the tourbillon. This is considered the flying tourbillon. The result of all this stuff that I tell you is the tourbillon watches have an extra level of accuracy, especially the old watches, that are not present in watches with just an escapement. Now, with today's technologies and hairsprings and jewels and oils and precision metal forming and machining and so forth, tourbillons are not as necessary to watchmaking as they once were. That's why you don't see a lot of them, and that's why they're very expensive. They become more of a beautiful wonderful affectation, if you will. They're not necessary for high accuracy automatic and manual wind movements, but they don't hurt either. And this tourbillon is what makes this watch as accurate as it is. And as I said, at the end of the video, there'll be a clip of me putting this watch on a time grapher, and you'll see how accurate this watch is right out of the box. I literally took it out of the box, wound it up, and stuck it on the time grapher. And it really surprised me. But as to this watch, it is a 316 L stainless steel case, sapphire crystal on top. Now, I cannot find any information about the bottom crystal. I'm going to assume it's a sapphire crystal given the price point of this watch, but it may be a mineral crystal. So there you go. And I've shown you the original leather strap, which I've removed and put on a Collareb Italian leather strap in its place from the Sienna collection. It is a 40 millimeter diameter case. It's 10 millimeters thick. It's a 20 millimeter lug. 50 meter water resistant. Would not recommend getting this watch wet, although probably it'll be okay if you're washing your hands and you splash the case. I forgot to measure the tip to tip. I don't think it's given, I'm going to put it on my wrist and you can see what it looks like on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. It fits very nicely. I don't think it's more than about a 46 millimeter lug to lug. Probably, most likely, anyone with a 6 1/2 inch wrist on up can wear this watch comfortably. It wears very well. It looks great. It doesn't weigh a lot. Well under 100 grams. And I mean, just look at the dial. Look at this dial. I mean, I'll zoom in a little more here. And look at that tourbillon. You can just stare at that thing the whole time. And the twin barrels with the twin mainsprings, that gives you that 80-hour power reserve. And you look on the back, you can see the train of wheels. You can see the click. You can see the, well, you can't see the keyless works from below, but you can see them from above if you know what you're looking for. The hands against the blue background are easy to pick up, and it's easy to tell the time on it. And you can see the pallet fork right there banging away. You can see the escape wheel. It's just wonderful visual theater, this watch is. I'm really impressed with a watch that, packs in this level of detail and accuracy at, I mean, even at a retail price of about $1,050, at least, snapshot in time. And I'll leave a link below to the website so you can check the price. And also check Amazon for this watch too. You never know how long that discount code is going to be available. But even at its price point, to get a watch it really is a good-looking watch, and it's very accurate, and it's just enjoyable to look at and play with. Fantastic, really good pickup. So I thank Theon over at Vintage Watch, and I thank Random Rob for bringing the watch to my attention. I really enjoy owning this watch. Fantastic piece. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it to be entertaining, useful, enjoyable. If you did, please click that thumbs up for me. That does help with the YouTube search algorithm, brings people to the channel, and we're all about that here at Celine Driver. Comments, questions, suggestions down below. I do read them all. I do respond to them all. However, if you are going to try to troll me, or you are going to leave insulting comments, or you're going to leave links to bad places on the internet, I'm simply going to delete the comment and block the commenter. If you're new to the channel, of course, welcome. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll take the time to enjoy many more videos. I have hundreds. All I ask in return is that before you leave, please click that subscribe button and click the bell icon too, so that when I upload new content or I do a live stream, you will be alerted to these things. And as I always say at the end of my videos, it is a crazy old world out there. It is not getting any less crazy. So please be careful out there. Stay safe. Be well. See you soon.